what is up, geeked up fam? I know, I'm scaring some people. I know you like, man, geek, too many videos and such close proximity. We not used to this from you. Well, get used to it. Yeah, man. No, I'm just joking. But yeah, this is my way to try to stay more consistent. It's my way to try to grow as a commentator, grow as a speaker, grow in Christ, grow in my accountability. And, it's an idea that as I was making the Saturday Morning God-Tunes to actually have a companion video to go along with it, and this is what this is. And, I wanted to use it more or less as something like a personal reflection, maybe to further what I was talking about, explain what I was talking about, maybe tell you why I talked about it. And most importantly, it's my way to kind of hold myself accountable to God, to you. And, it's my way to kind of have like a video journal of my growth in doing so. Kind of where I can look back and say, man, I was a little off on that, or, see how my thought process has changed. So this is what I hope that would be. If it doesn't work, I'll probably still do it for me if I like it. And, if not, then we'll just cease. But for now, I think it's a really good idea, and I want to go through with that. I want to see my growth. So let's go. So why did I choose to talk about accountability? First of all, it's like I said, recently it was Leech. I watched one of his videos, and he was talking about how he watched another video and he felt like he wasn't always putting God in his channel, that he wasn't incorporating more of God. And that was kind of an unintentional way of holding me accountable. It was kind of like, that message was like, okay, geek, like, dude, you messing up. And I started thinking about it, and I was like, one of the things that I put in my video, my intro video, was that God is the reason I have this channel. If it wasn't for God pushing me, I wouldn't have went out and got an Elgato. I wouldn't have got a hard drive. I wouldn't have got this and that and invested in my craft. It just would have been nothing. God is the reason that I knocked down that wall. I let the fear go and I jumped. So, I look at it and it's just like, it's hitting me on the head. It's like, dude, you don't put God as into your channel as you should. And as I said in the other video too, is, I look back on something that Jesus Freak said, and it was like, okay, we have to hold each other accountable in this YouTube community. We shouldn't just accept mediocrity. We shouldn't just accept somebody getting on a video and cursing the whole time or something like that. I'm not saying cursing is wrong. I let some words slip sometime unintentionally. And, I do watch some videos where it's cursing and stuff. I mean, like, knowing that half of your audience is, for example, middle school kids, and you drop an F-bomb or something like that throughout the whole video. And, I took that and I mirrored it with life. I mirrored it with our walk with God. I mirrored it with that whole transformation. And, why should we accept mediocrity in our growth with God? Why should we accept mediocrity with how we progress? Why aren't we holding each other accountable as brothers and sisters in Christ? Why aren't we holding each other accountable as far as, hey, you're not doing right, or even if it's not, God related, hey, you messing up big time right there, bro. You should do this, or you shouldn't do that. Why did you do that? Coming from love, this is how you should have handled that. This is nothing but me loving you and telling you blah, 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 blah. And, that just pushed it further. And the tipping point was actually church. And I'm going to venture way right and way left with this one. And I'm going to tell a backstory. This is my behind the scenes of the behind the scenes after all. So I can do whatever I want, man. No, I was just joking. But yeah, so due to recent events and stuff, I've been fighting with myself, trying to let go of fear. And one of those things is like giving my testimony on certain things. I didn't want to come off as one of those Christians that, make myself look as though I always have this great story or something. And I just always feared that I didn't want anybody to look at me wrong. I don't know, like I always consider myself like a Christian hippie or something, but at the same time, like I fear what other people think. But anyway, scratch all of that. I want to tell you about how I found my church home. So, as many of you know, I moved out of state for my internship. I prayed about it the whole time I was, signing up for the internship, getting ready to move. I just wanted to find a church home. I haven't really had a church home that was mine, that I felt like I fit in, that I felt like, it was me as a man, me as a Christian, me as a follower saying, okay, this is it. And, before I came, I was actually researching, and I found the church that I go to now. And, it's kind of like, I ain't really feeling it, and funny thing is I came out here, fast forward, I came out here, was looking at the apartment I'm in now, was talking to supervisors at my job, and one night I was just restless. I was out here for 2 nights. I got restless, and I decided to go for a joyride. Bad story. Bad idea, a new place, don't know my way around, it's nighttime. Long story short, I got lost. I was like, man, I gotta turn around somewhere. I don't know where I'm at. And I pull into this huge parking lot. Headlights are beaming in on this sign. And, I'm kind of like, what's that say? It was the name of the church that I go to. It was the church's parking lot. And that was like, I heard the trumpets and everything, and it was like, okay, this is a sign. Go. And I haven't looked back. It was a little weird at first. I wasn't used to so many people, saying, good morning, shaking my hand. It's glad to have you. We're glad to have you here. God bless. Hope you have a good time. Glad to see you this morning. So much love and stuff. And it was freaking me out a little bit. Not gonna lie. But anyway, the preacher was giving a sermon recently. He was telling this story, and it served as a parable, but it was actually a true story. It was these 2 preachers. One of the preachers told the other preacher, he said, I want you to call me every day at 6 o'clock, no matter what. I want you to tell me to tell you how my day went. I also want you to follow that up and tell me not to lie. So the preacher did that every day for a full month. At the end of that full month, he told the preacher, he thanked him for doing that, and they decided to have lunch. Well, the other preacher asked him, he said, why did you have me call you every day at 6 o'clock? So the preacher gets to telling this story. He said that it was a young lady at church. She was well educated, well spoken, but she was feisty. She was real aggressive. She pursued him in an ungodly way. If you read what I'm saying. And he said that each day she got more intense with it. She pursued him harder, and it made him weak. He felt like if somebody didn't hold him accountable, he would fall into temptation. And the other pastor was his best friend. And he said that he felt that if he was to do something with that young lady, and the pastor asked him the next day, what did you do today? And he told him that. He said that he felt it would hurt him more to have to tell him and God, knowing that God saw what happened. It would hurt him to no avail, and he wouldn't know how to handle it. So that kept him from falling into sin and temptation. That kept him from saying, okay, I'm gonna just take her up on her advances. And that made me look at it. There's so much that I have to be held accountable for. I haven't been doing right on my walk with God. I haven't been praying as much as I pray, and I haven't been reading my Bible. I haven't been trying to imitate Christ. I've been just falling into every trap because of time and not having enough, saying I don't have enough time for this or that when I could just as easily slide Bible study time in here or do this and that there. And it's just that feeling inside where it's been hurting me. It's just like, man, I want to do better. I want to dedicate more to God. I want to do more for God. And there's so much that I figure that you guys have going on, that if somebody was just to hold you accountable, say, hey man, how was your day? Did you do what you say you were gonna do? Wouldn't it force you to want to do that? Wouldn't it force you to want to say, I did it, man? Just for the sake of knowing that you don't want to let anybody down. You don't want to let yourself down. You don't want to let God down. You don't want to let your accountability partner down. So, yeah, that's the reason why I chose to speak about accountability. Something that I feel like we should do more as brothers and sisters. It's something that I feel like we should do more as friends, as a community. And I feel like when we start to do that more, we'll blossom. It won't just be one against the world. It'll be us against no one. If that makes any sense. So, yeah, hopefully this is something that I keep up. I want to keep it up. I'm going to try to keep it up. I'm going to invest everything I can into keeping it up. I know life is more important, and I know most of you understand that, but, this is something that I'm on a war path for, man. I'm on a war path for God. That's the end of story. Hashtag warrior. Hashtag elevate. Nah, just joking. But as always, stay geeked up, homies.